What's going on, guys? Made another video for how to play another strategy on the opening range. I made one for the orb, which is opening range breakout, and that one basically plays after the first 3 minutes, and I'll link the description of the video or the video in the description below. But if that doesn't pan out, I rely on the second option, which is I'm going to call it OPR, which stands for Opening Point of Control Retest. And how you play that one is it's based off of a volume profile, and more specifically, it's based off the value area, the volume profile of the previous day, and the point of control. So, for example, here is Friday. This blue area and the high and lows is in purple dash lines, and the point of control is in the white dotted line. Is Thursday's volume profile value area. So how you would play it would be on the opening of the day, you would look back to the previous day's high and low of the value area. If it opens within that area, more than likely it's going to test the previous day's point of control. I didn't play it this day on Friday because I actually played the orb strategy. After 3 minutes, it broke low, and I got in and wrote it down to the green candle and got out. So I actually made money on it. That strategy, but that's a totally different strategy. This strategy, how I would play it, would be I wouldn't get in right away, banking that it's going to go right for the POC unless it was a lot closer. What I'd like to see is a little bit of a pull away from the POC. And then as it starts to come back, I would get in a call. So, for example, this POC area is right at 413. So I would play a 414 call, and I'd have that loaded up. And then on these green candles here, as it's coming back, the first green candle, I say, okay, it's coming back. The second one looks like, okay, it's probably going to make its way back up. I'd get in a call, and then obviously it banked back down here. So how I would do that, my stop loss would have been below this low area, because if it comes back down, it can retest it. Let me zoom in. As you can see on this wick here, it retested it. I would stay in, but then once this candle actually forms below the low of that pullback, then I'd use a stop loss to get out. But as you can see, it would come back up later on in the day and did hit that POC. So depending on when you got in it, knowing that it could be pulling back up, you could get in really at any time it starts coming close to that point of control area, jump in, and it could be a winner for you. Is it a gamble? I guess you can say it's a gamble, but we'll go back here a couple days and you can see that it actually does retest that point of control. So we'll move back now to Wednesday, Thursday. As you can see, it opened within the value area, so it would signal to me that this would be a good chance to get in a point of control. Its choppiness is coming across, and then it starts coming down. So for me, I would get in on these red candles, probably the second red candle as it's moving towards it, and then you could have held that whole area, and as you can see, it retested the point of control also. That would have been a tough one because it went from 424 or 423. It needed to come down $7, I guess, 7 points, however you want to call it, to get to that retest. So that would have been a tough one to hold through. But if you got in at the right time, you're making money this whole time down there. It might not be that hard of a hold. So we'll come over here to Tuesday, Wednesday. As you can see, again, it opened up within that area, the value area. It started coming down. So if you would jump in right away, you'd make money because it hit within 3 minutes, it ended up hitting that point of control area. I like to see a little bit of pull away from it just so you could get in at a better entry point. But any one of these two candles, you could have got in and hit your target price. And then let's move back to Monday, Tuesday. So right there, every day would have been a good play for the point of control. Let me get there we go. So this is, I believe, Monday and Tuesday. Now on this day here, I believe it actually opened up, hitting it on that first candle. So you really couldn't play it. But as you can see, it retested that candle also on Monday, Tuesday. So that whole week, it retested the previous day's point of control. All of last week would have been a good time to play the point of control. Now let's go back to the following week and see. And these YouTube videos, I'm not pre-planning or staging these videos of saying, oh yeah, it's going to work here. So I haven't gone back and looked. So it may work, it may not work here on these other ones. And I'm showing you just as I'm seeing it. So it's either going to work or not work. So here, this was Friday, this is Thursday. It did open up in that point of control or in the value area. So on this big green candle going up towards it, I probably would have got in on the second green candle saying, okay, it's kind of like a confirmation it's going to keep going up. Again, my stop loss would have been right below here. And this one, it would have stopped out. You know, it come back, and it ended up, wouldn't have made it. It would have ended up stopping out. So it didn't hit it that day. So let's go back even further and see. So on this day here, I wouldn't have got in just for the fact that, I mean, this was a close one because it looks like it may have opened up or even touched a value area. So this would have been a play. It'd have been a play it by, ear type deal if you would have got in, because normally I like to see it like really open up within the value area. This is just wicking, and I mean, even zooming in, it's just barely touching it. But if you wanted to play it, as it's coming down, as you can see, it ended up hitting that point of control again. But I'm not sure. This would have been a tough one to get in or out. I probably would have played it just because I'm a gambling man and it's close. Now, if it was out further from the value area, I probably definitely wouldn't have played it. But since it's so close, I probably would end up playing it. And then let's move back earlier that week. So for here, example, as that candle's open up, it's within that value area. So this would have been a play. Hit pull back, hit come up, it pull back, and probably not getting in yet. This one's indeciphered candle with a big wick. Wouldn't have got in. This big green candle here is moving towards it. After this green candle, even though it wicked, I probably would have got in on this green candle. Again, my stop loss would have been the low of the day. And then as it's coming up, it would have hit the point of control, so you would have made out there. So what is it? Almost out of 2 weeks now, the one time it wouldn't have worked out. Here, the previous day, it's same concept. This candle here, it wicked within that point of control. So it's your choice. It's like I said, if it was completely out of the point of control, definitely wouldn't do it. But since it's actually touching within that point of control area, you could have jumped in, or not point of control, value area, sorry. You could have jumped in and rode it down to that point of control. It would have hit it at 10, 15 to 45 minutes, depending what you got in. After this candle here, the second red candle coming down, I probably would end up getting in because it looked like, okay, we're going to drop. This second candle looks like, oh, we're definitely dropping. Again, my stop loss would have been right at the high today, and it would have hit. And come back here. This day wouldn't even have been a play for me. Here's the value area. It didn't open up anywhere near it, and as you can see, it didn't. Oh, I guess it did. It ended up hitting it at 3 o'clock. So even if this would have opened up close by, that would have been a hell of a hold to hold it till 3 o'clock for it to actually break it. But since it didn't open within that value area, I wouldn't even have thought about playing it. Yeah, just keep moving back here. Zoom in. This one's close. It didn't open up within the value area. So even though there's some space there, I wouldn't have played this one. Now, if this would have wicked up within that value area, I would have ended up getting in on this green candle here and putting a stop loss down below here. But since it didn't break that value area, I wouldn't have got in. And that's how you play these. If it doesn't meet your criteria, you don't jump in. Here's one. Eventually it did hit it, but since it didn't open up within that value area, I would not have jumped in on this strategy, using this strategy specifically. So I wouldn't have jumped in on that one. And that's the thing, you have to follow the strategy, or if you want to tailor it towards however strategy you would want to make it, by all means do it. But mine is if it doesn't open within this value area, I'm not playing it, even though previously it did hit it. I'm not taking that chance. This time, again, it opened up without outside the value area, so that wouldn't have been a good play. On this day here, I would have took it. And I'm saying would have because this is just, I normally play that orb strategy and sometimes it don't work. So I was trying to come up with a different strategy to play. So I've been back testing it. I haven't actually, really put forth the effort of playing this a lot. It's just I've been back testing it, and I think I played it a couple times, and it ended up working out for me. But on this day here, it opened up at 9:30 within the value area. It started going up right away towards it, so I probably would have jumped in on this green candle. Um, and then this, obviously it's a red candle there, but it didn't close below the low of the day. Here's a green candle. It wicked below, but it didn't. The candle itself didn't close below, so I would have stayed in it. And as you can see, within 4 minutes of opening, it would hit that point of control area. And then it's to take profit. It's up to you guys where you take the profit at. I like to use the fibs, but for the point of control, once it hits that point of control area, usually I'll take the profit because that's the whole point of, hey, it's I'm banking that it's going to hit that point of control area. So I probably would, as soon as it hit it, I would take profit. It's up to you when you want to take profit or decide. Um, that's one thing, I don't like to tell people, hey, take profit here or don't take profit here. It's your choice, it's your money. The previous day, it opened up outside that value area, so it wouldn't be a play. And as you can see here, the previous day, it opened up within the value area. It almost, if you look, it may have even wicked on it. I mean, that is close. So that wick almost hit it. So on that green candle, obviously it's moving away, moving away. This red candle starts coming back. I would get in here on this candle, but then my stop loss would have been the high day which would have been here. So I would end up stopping out on this play, even though it still hit it, because especially with this big green candle. So I would end up stopping out because I'm following, rules of the strat. For me, it's the rules I made up for myself for this strategy that when I get in, my stop loss is the high or low of the day, or of that previous candles, which would have been there. And since this candle actually closed above it, I would have stopped out on that candle and then it would have hit, which would have sucked. But hey, as you can see, it still hit that um, POC. So depending on your strategy, and like I said, you shouldn't hold and hope how loose you are with your stop loss. I keep mine tight because I've learned that, you know, stop losses are what save you, especially when, you're playing with your own money. You definitely want to make sure. And then on this day here, obviously it opened up within the range. That first red candle moved away from it at 9:30. So this second green candle, I probably would have got in either on this candle or the start of this green candle here. So I would end up getting in. The stop loss would have been at the bottom of that green candle since it's the low of the day, and it would have worked. I mean, we could keep going back and back and back, and as you can see, just 2 weeks, or I'm not even sure how, this is maybe 3 weeks back we went, and if you played it, what, two out of the however many times it would have paid off for you. This one here, that wick, didn't touch it. So on this candle here, I probably still would have got in because it looked like it was moving back down towards it. So as it was moving down towards, or a wick down there, I would have got in on this candle. And obviously the very next candle, it did hit the point of control, um, and take it. If you guys choose to do a strategy like this, or regardless of which strategy you use, any strategies, make sure you have a stop loss. Make sure you follow your stop loss, because I can't express that enough. I used to be a hold and hope type of person where, hey, I'm getting in and it didn't hit my, target area. Oh, it's still going to come back. It's still going to come back to my target area. And I would hold and hope, and I would literally take a huge loss on my account instead of taking, $50, $80, maybe $100, which is still a lot. I'd take a $500 hit because I would hold and hope wanting it to come back. Honor those stop losses. If you say you're going to put a stop loss, do it. When it hits it, get out, because if it keeps dropping and not going in your thing, you'll be in that same boat. I could have stopped out at 50 or $80, and then instead it's $300. I should have did it back then. Yes, you should have. So don't get in that position. If it hits your stop loss, get out, because guess what? Especially if you're on a cash account, you can always get back in at a later time in the day. Don't blow your account. The way you destroy your account is, yeah, your gains, when you're green, take your green. That's why when I do this strategy here, I'm not holding and hoping for, home run. As soon as it hits, like this day here, as soon as it would hit that point of control, I'm getting out. Yeah, it ran, but look at the next candle's red. So I would have not lost money, but I wouldn't have gained as much money as I did on that green candle. It hit the point that I'm wanting. The whole idea or rules of the strategy is once it hits the point of control, I'm getting out. And you do that. If it keeps running, yeah, it's fine and dandy, but you followed your rules. Good job. You missed out on, oh, I missed out on this much money. Who cares? You're still making money. And the way you keep that money is by honoring your stop losses. Because it's kind of oxymoron, I guess, because your stop losses actually help your gains. Your losses help your gains, is I guess what I'm trying to say. Managing your losses. If I have a stop loss, right below here, and it hits that, I'm only getting out, a few dollar loss instead of holding. And if it come down here lower, oh shit, it's, $500, $600, and then I'm getting out. I shouldn't have did that. What exactly? Because by honoring this, taking a little bit of stop loss, then your gains are going to help you, because when you do get out on your gains, you're not making up for a $500 loss. You're only making up for, 40, 50, $60 loss. So again, I can't stress that enough. But that's going off on a tangent. Um, the main idea is that or not orb, this is the OPR strategy, opening, point of control, retest. And as you can see, a lot of times it retests that point of control. So depending on what rules you make up for it, again, use your own rules. If you do decide to play it, don't use my rules. I mean, you can base them whatever you want off them, because I play a pretty tight stop loss, um, because I've learned that by not playing the type stop loss, my losses were more than my gains, and that wasn't working out for me. Um, so hopefully, this will help some people, and if you trade with it, good deal, and I hope you make some money. If not, hey, it's just a strategy that didn't work for you, so you can go on to the other strategy and just make a strategy your own. So if it does work for you, please leave a comment below. That way I know, hey, this actually works for other people too. Um, whether you like it or not, it's up to you. But I got thick skin. So good luck to y'all and make some money.